At least 4 people were reported killed on 4 different islands by Irma, which weather forecasters have described as a potentially catastrophic Category 5 storm, the highest U.S. classification for hurricanes. The dual-island nation of Antigua and Barbuda was especially hard hit. The northernmost island, Barbuda, home to roughly 1,800 people, was totally demolished, with 90% of all dwellings there leveled, Prime Minister Gaston Brown said, according to island television broadcasts. Brown said 1 person was confirmed killed on Barbuda. A second storm-related fatality, that of a surfer, was reported on Barbados, and the French government said at least 2 people were killed in Caribbean island territories of Saint Martin and Saint Barthélemy. Irma, with top sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, 300 kilometers per hour, was on track to reach Florida on Saturday or Sunday, becoming the second major hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland in as many weeks. While Irma's intensity could fluctuate, and its precise course remained uncertain, the storm was expected to remain at least a Category 4 before arriving in Florida. 2 other hurricanes formed on Wednesday. Katia in the Gulf of Mexico posed no threat to the United States, according to U.S. forecasters, but Hurricane Jose in the open Atlantic, about 1,000 miles, 1,610 kilometers, east of the Caribbean's Lesser Antilles Islands, could also eventually threaten the U.S. mainland. The flurry of severe storm activity comes after Hurricane Harvey claimed about 60 lives and caused property damage estimated as high as $180 billion after pummeling the Gulf coasts of Texas and Louisiana with torrential rains and severe flooding. Florida emergency management officials, chastened by Harvey's devastation, began evacuations days in advance of Irma's arrival, ordering all tourists to leave the Florida Keys, a resort archipelago off the state's southern tip, starting Wednesday morning. Evacuation of residents from the Keys was to begin Wednesday evening. At least half of Puerto Rico's homes and businesses lost electricity by nightfall, according to a Twitter message posted by an island utility executive. Earlier in the day, the storm passed over the northernmost Virgin Islands after crossing the half-French, half-Dutch island of Saint Martin. Saint Martin, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said. Carol van Oosterom, the Netherlands ambassador to the United Nations, said Irma had hit the Dutch islands of Saba and Sint Eustatius before overrunning Saint Martin. First information indicates that a lot of damage has been done, but communication is still extremely difficult, he said at a UN meeting. Irma began lashing Puerto Rico with rain at mid-morning. Businesses in San Juan were closed and many buildings were covered with storm shutters. Occasional shoppers were out making final purchases of water, ice, and food to prepare for what they feared could be several days without power. Aid from France. In Paris, the French government said it had delivered water and food to its 2 island territories and that emergency response teams would be sent once the storm had passed. Power was knocked out on both islands, according to prefecture officials on Guadeloupe. At least 4 buildings were damaged and low-lying regions had been flooded, French Interior Minister Gérard Collomb said. The UN World Food Programme prepared to provide emergency aid to Haiti if it was hit by Irma. The country was ravaged by a 2010 earthquake and Hurricane Matthew last year. U.S. President Donald Trump said he and aides were monitoring Irma's progress. But it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good, he told reporters. Florida Governor Rick Scott said Irma could be more devastating than Hurricane Andrew, a Category 5 storm that struck the state in 1992 and still ranks as one of the costliest ever in the United States. Residents in most coastal communities of densely populated Miami-Dade County were ordered to move to higher ground beginning at 9 a.m. ET, 13 o'clock GMT, on Thursday, Mayor Carlos Gimenez announced on Wednesday. The evacuation orders will affect more than 100,000 residents, the Miami Herald reported. Scott told a news conference in the Keys that 7,000 National Guard troops would report for duty on Friday, ahead of the storm's expected arrival. Statewide emergency declarations were issued in both North and South Carolina, and Georgia Governor Nathan Deal declared an emergency for 6 coastal counties in anticipation of Irma's arrival.